Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to a very special episode of Day Job. Today, we've got my favorite thing. We've got new cards to talk about. So, there is a link in the show notes. Let me go ahead and also link it on Twitch, but the Uprising World's Booster Pack was released yesterday on Nisei.net. So now we have new cards that have been added into the legal card pool as a little teaser of what's going to be coming in the second half of the Ashes cycle. So we have 7 cards to take a look at today and try to build into the current meta. And we can also speculate a little bit about what might be coming in the rest of Uprising as far as how we might use these cards. So I wanted to start with one of the cards that we haven't seen very much of. It wasn't Swift or one of the other ones that people have been really talking about, and that's Mystic Mamie? Mamie? I think it's probably Mamie, but I could be wrong. Anyway, it's another one of these companion virtuals like Fencer Fuego and Trickster Taka. So this is probably another companion piece of the new Anarch that we saw on Climactic Showdown. And it's another one of these, when you steal an agenda or you have your turn start, you get 1 credit on it. But these can be used to play events. This is the first time in a long time we've actually seen an not unrestricted, but I mean an unlimited prepaid voice pad like effect. Remember that prepaid voice pad was taken out of the game. Well, it rotated, but also it was just such a big part of the game for such a long time because of how powerful that effect was. So this is the first time that style of effect, where it's money for any kind of event that you want, is coming back into the game. This time it's a resource, so it can be trashed. That was one of the big power sources of prepaid voice pad, was since it was hardware, there's no way for the corp to ever get rid of it. So this is a resource, and it comes with the caveat that if you let it sit around too much, eventually it's going to start having the negatives that these resources have. And hang on one second, I got to deal with Balder trying to jump into my lap. Come here, buddy. Come on, you want to jump up? Come on. So he doesn't bother me while I'm trying to talk. There you go, buddy. That's better, right? Yeah. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about this card. What do people think of the power level of this card? It only costs 1 to install. Really nice. It's 2 influence, so it's reasonably easily borrowed for people who might want to borrow it, like Ken Tenma. I couldn't imagine a Shaper wanting to borrow it, but they could. But I mean, this is good enough just in Anarch, right? Like, Anarchs have tons and tons and tons of events that they play. Excuse me. They play Inject, I've Had Worse. If you're value, you usually play Mining Accident, Sure Gambles, Dirty Laundries, Wanton, right? So that's already like 21 cards potentially that could be triggering this card. Yeah, I mean, and if you want to discard cards, one thing that's I was thinking about last night when I was kind of like mentally spitballing with this card is you could potentially use the trash effect of this card to help trigger your Nat ability. Kind of a fringe situation, but it could definitely happen. I think one of the other big things here is that you can combine this with other cards to create like a true economic engine with Swift, which is kind of neat. So that's Mystic Mamie. The next one we have is the one that kind of works hand in hand with it, and that's Swift. Swift is a 2-cost, 2-influence console. That's for criminal. That the first time you play a run event, you gain a click. So this is pretty good. I also appreciate that it has flavor text that references orcs from Warhammer 40k. Which one, Dennis-K? The Swift or the Mystic Mamie? Yeah, Swift is a huge APOC enabler, as we saw when I streamed with it earlier. But it is kind of like all run-based strategies. It's you have to be able to do the thing before you get the reward for doing the thing. So unlike Paragon, where, you know, you're going to make some number of successful runs over the game, you can't always use your run events. Like, a lot of times when I play Ken decks trying to utilize Swift now that aren't APOC based, I'm holding embezzles and other, like, server specific run events the whole game because I can't play them yet. But yeah, I think another big thing with Swift is that 2 influence, it can be borrowed by just about anybody who wants to borrow it. So any situation where you are playing events that require you to run multiple servers, like Notoriety, like Encore, right? Even things like Quest Completed. Swift gives you the ability to fire those you must run 3 in a turn scenarios much more easily because it'll let you put down a breaker or a DDoS or utilize a money card before starting that whole process, as long as you use at least 1 run event. So I think this is definitely a contender for the strongest card in the pack, and certainly a really well-designed, well-costed criminal console. Like, I think 2 is definitely the right price for this effect. I'm glad that Nisei is doing this thing where they're much better at adjusting the text on cards to fit the price, instead of a lot of times with some of the FFG cards, you felt like it kind of had an effect that should have been like 2.5 credits, and instead of rounding down to 2 credits, they would always round up to the next whole credit of how much it should cost, which made a lot of cards aggressively meh, because they were like half a credit too expensive. I know that's really getting into like deck building minutia, but it's something that I think about a lot. So let's talk about the last runner card. So the last runner card in this set is Cyber Trooper Talut, which, despite having some very cool, very evocative art, which I really like, it also is a replacement, in a way, for LLDS processor. The hardware that for each one you had installed would give an icebreaker +1 strength for the first turn that it's installed. So one of my most effective lock decks that I ever made utilized LLDS to make drop 2 chameleons with Haley every turn. With Sahasrara, they jump up to 6 strength, 1 on code gates, 1 on barriers, and then have like a sentry breaker, and then just like lock the remote using that, and then with tech writers and all that jazz. Now, one of the biggest things, and one of the things that we're going to discuss today when we start getting into deck building, is that Cyber Trooper and Chameleons and the tech writers and things are hard to fit into productive Shaper decks as they exist right now. There are not a lot of quote-unquote free slots, which what that means is that we're going to have to build out a new archetype with a new style of economy in order to be able to make the space for it. But I'm really excited about this card. It's interesting that it also has Link, when Shapers are kind of being pushed away from Link-based strategies, but it is like a nice additional value because they didn't want to make it cost 1 to install, which I get. So they wanted to make it 2, but they very accurately realized that since you have to pack multiples of these to be sure that you could see it because you're a shaper, that it needs to have some sort of additional bonus. So, if you're Woo and you're tutoring your programs and you're utilizing this, having that extra link and bumping up to 2 link is going to be great against things like IP block. It's going to be great against the CTM trace, etc., etc. So I think there's a lot of potential power here. I think one of the biggest concerns with this is if you're building a deck around this, you're going to need 3 to make sure that you see it. And you're probably going to need to be Haley so you can install 2 chameleons a turn. And then you also need a way to install the chameleons for no cost. Or a reduced cost, which means you're using Sahasrara. Or you're using London Library, which comes with its own problems, right? So this is another unique card. There's a lot of unique cards in this set. So moving on to the Corp cards. The first of our Corp cards is Lacoste Grid. So this is a CD region. So again, it's functionally unique. When your turn begins, place 1 advancement token on a card installed in this server. This card is a huge deal. It's 3 to res, 4 to trash, so the numbers on it are pretty good. But it turns you into Tenon, right? So, like, you can never advance out viral weaponizations with this. You can never advance Nisei MK2s with this, right? There is a lot of power potential behind Lacoste Grid. And it's got a lot going on. I think also, you can use this with advanceable traps. If you don't have a agenda, you can put like a NGO front with 1 advancement on it, and if they don't go get it, you get the second one for free, which is the one which is the lesser return, because you're paying 1 credit and a click to gain 3 credits instead of the first advancement where you gain 5. 3 is an expensive cost to res it, but if it means that you can play a viable never advance strategy with the 4-2s, like Medical Breakthrough, Nisei, and Viral Weaponization in, like, Palana, like, imagine never having to let the runner know when something's a Nisei, right? So we're going to talk about this one too. Can anybody think of any other potential utilizations of this card? I can think of a few with like advanceable traps. Yeah, I mean, I think another thing here is this could be used with BioVault. So that's an interesting question, Brian. Let me ask. Yeah, it couldn't happen on the mandatory draw because everything that's start of turn has to happen before the mandatory draw. But if you're popping a Rashida and the agenda is in that Rashida draw, since you decide the order in which Rashida and all those other start of turn triggers fire, then it could work. So yeah, you could do Lacoste Grid with political dealings. Yeah, like you could do an RP deck with political dealings, Lacoste Grid behind ice, and like viral weaponizations. You could use this to fast advance out a 5/3 if you had this and a Jeeves. I think there's a tremendous amount of power in this card. And I appreciate that it has a 4 trash cost instead of a 5, because this has got to go, right? So this needs to fall into like the Turtlebacks and team sponsorship range where it's expensive but manageable. But yeah, very good. Lacoste Grid. Let's talk about the other grid real quick. So we have KMB Grid. KMB, I think. When your turn begins, we've got another when your turn begins trigger. Again, it's a 3 cost, but this time it's only a 3 res because Wayland only gets a handful of high trash cost assets. When your turn begins, place 1 advancement token on a piece of ice protecting this server. When the runner approaches this server, end the run unless they pay 2 credits for each advanced piece of ice protecting this server. Like, I think about using this with like a Jinja SSO SSO deck, but instead of using just the space ice, you really lean heavily on making your ice walls and everything really big. And I think there's a lot of power there. Yeah. There's a tremendous... the nice thing about this is this gives you the ability to start putting counters on ice without having to actually have an agenda. Oh, right. Jinja's a region. Huh. So you can't have this and Jinja. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that would be great. I mean, I think this is nice, though. Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing is also, like, this, like, if you're up against somebody who's not playing David, like, you can just turn ice walls and firewalls into, like, fucking nightmare engines with this. Like, imagine being against somebody with Corroder, and every turn you're just increasing an ice wall strength by 1, waiting for an agenda to come by. If you're on like a punitive deck, that could be a huge deal, right? It's very strong, I think. It's harder to use, certainly, than the other grid, but there's an incredible power here. Yeah, David is leaving. So we're getting back towards you've got to pay the tolls if you want to get into the servers. Also, I made this layout last night. Is everybody able to see the cards clearly? Is like this like a good size for everything? Alright, so I think KMB Grid is one that I want to try to experiment with today. Lacoste Grid definitely. I mean, we're going to try to get in games with all of these cards. But I'm not going to build bad decks just to get multiples of them into one deck. if that makes sense. Let's talk about something that I think is very, very, very spicy. Mega Prix Qualifier. Or Mega Prix. So it's a 3-1 agenda. It's the first effect in purple that you have that's like medical breakthrough. Where each agenda in the set is worth more points. But instead of it being, this is easier to score, it's, this is worth more points. So, if there's a copy of Mega Prix Qualifier in either player's score area when you score this agenda, you place one agenda counter on this agenda, and it's worth one additional agenda point for each counter on it. So, the effects of this seem pretty simple. The first one that's stolen or scored is worth 1. The second one that's stolen or scored is worth 2, but only for the corp. It says only when you score it, not when they steal it. And then the third one, if you manage to score the third one, it could be a 3-3 if both of them are already in score areas. So, the side effects of this are twofold. The sports medal, lots of small points and negative points build with the game changer combo. That gets easier to close the game with because you can use this as some of your 1-pointers. And this eats up a film critic, right? If you have one of these in your... If your opponent steals one of these, and instead of actually stealing it, puts it on a film critic, they're strongly incentivized not to add that to their score area, because then it enhances the ones that you might score. So you can create this scenario where, I mean, I don't know if this is the right decision for the runner to make, but a runner might not use their film critic on bigger agendas like SSL and Ikawa, because they've got this sitting on it, hoping to hold on to it until they need it to win so that it doesn't modify your agendas. So, just something to think about that I was thinking about. But I think this agenda really works strongly with that kind of like, I've got a lot of negative points, because this, unlike GFI, which you would still probably have in the deck, you would probably still use that as your restricted card, this creates a much more flexible way to close the game. The other funny thing about this deck is if you do this with an Arella combo, you can Arella combo 5 points of agendas with a bunch of 3-1s. Or, I guess, 6 points of agendas. Oh, yeah, so 5 points. The last one isn't worth 3. The last one's still only worth 2. But still, 5 points of agendas is still pretty damn good for a 3-1. So we have a lot of different options that we can go with these. Yeah, I mean, if you're playing one of those like big sports medal glacier builds where you have mostly 5-3s, and then previously you were like stretching out the agenda suite with like 2 hyperloops, I think you can afford to just have these two of these, or move things around and get 3 of these in to fill out your agenda suite. Yeah. That's why I said it probably works best in like the lots of fake points and 1-pointer sports medal, because you can just swap out like one of the Chronoses for one of these. You know, normally that deck runs 3 hyperloops. You can cut down to 2 hyperloops, right? Just come settle, man. Dealing with my cat. Do you want back up? Did you just want to reposition yourself? Okay. Come on. But yeah, I think there's a lot of potential here. All right. Let's talk about the next card, the final card in the pack, Digital Rights Management. Nice, evocative piece of art here that I like, where it's like a library book or like a book of secrets that's under a chain. Play only if the runner did not make a successful run on HQ during their last turn. This is a pretty specific condition, but one that would probably be filled a lot of the time. You could search R&D for an agenda and reveal it. Add that agenda to HQ. You may install one card. It doesn't specify that it has to be the agenda into a remote server, and you can't score any agendas for the remainder of this turn. So this is really neat, because this is a one influence op that lets you tutor things like CityWorks project. Yeah, Austin, exactly. If the runner didn't run HQ, it's like a fast track for like a CityWorks that doesn't require the extra click to install it. And then you weren't going to score it this turn anyway. So then you can like click one, Digital Rights Management, go get the CityWorks, put it in the remote, face up, and then advance it twice. And it's like a fast track plus lateral growth type of effect. You're tutoring and you're installing. But it's also could be neat in like a never advanced Jinteki PE where you're like, did I put the agenda in the remote or did I put something else, right? So there's like a mind games, right? This card combos with some of the other cards in this pack. It combos with the 3-1, the Mega Pre that Purple got. It combos with the grid that Jinteki got, because then you say, well, I'm not going to score this anyway, so I'm not going to bother putting any advancements on this, 4-2. I'm going to wait, and then if you don't go get it, next turn, I put the counter on it, and then I finish it, right? So it's really neat. There's a lot of applications of digital rights management to do a lot of really cool stuff and a lot of really cool mind games. Yeah, I mean, I think one of the big... I think one of the biggest things, also is like you can be like really trollsy with this. Like you can go get a viral weaponization, right? Be like, here's a viral weaponization. Put that in your hand, and then like put like a psychic field in the remote, and then be like, well, if it's the agenda, then I psychic field you one way. And if you go run it, I kill you the other way, right? So I think there's... What does that card even do? Brian, remind me what Ha's Archaeology AI does. And now we're actually going to start building. Ha! It's ridiculous. Alright. So let's talk about using digital rights management and the One Grid and SSO. I think that's a good place for us to start. So let's get CityWorks. Let's get Hollywood. Some hostiles. Let's get digital rights management, X3. Let's get the KMB Grid, X3. Right. Hedge fund. Ice Wall. Rashida's, right? Masscom. Yeah, what are the numbers for Astro Ice that we should be taking, do we think? Well, we should have Punitive. We should probably have a Biotic or two. We should have Red Planet Couriers. Wormhole, Nebula, and Asteroid Belt. Thimble Rig, because it's a nice, cheap one that we can move around. Mausolus is always good. Hortum's good. Where we can't run Jinja and this grid. We need more money, so let's get some IPOs in there. Now, we're definitely not in what I would call an environment where we can say that we're gonna reliably get one grid first, utilize it, and then have the other grid waiting in HQ for the right time. I think that is aggressively too optimistic. We'll get one Moss Bingo in there. We also need to use 2 more influence. So one of the biggest things in this build is we now don't have free installs. How much is lateral growth? 2 influence. Jeez. Red level clearance. Oh yeah. What is this? Oh yeah, archived. So we need more money. Should we get NGOs as well? Oh, we're already at 51 cards. Goodness. All right. So probably, right now we're at 17 ice. Yeah, we can cut an IPO. Yeah, we could probably cut the IPOs just in general. Oh yeah, we don't. Yeah, what are we doing? Biotic labor is nice because it gives us the closer. I know we need more ice. We also need more money. I mean, Whoredom can single-handedly kill somebody who is leaning too heavily on Amakua. So now we have 4 influence just floating around. Slot machine's nice. I think we can go down. Ugh. Do we? Do we want to get red level clearances in to speed up the deck a little bit? I want to have the Mausvingo because with the KMB Grid, things can get real spicy. I think I'm going to go down to 2 asteroid belts. And then we're going to get 2 red level clearances in. And then we're at 17 ice. Do we need all 3 punitive, or do you think we can get away with 2s? Alright, so then we need 1 more ice. I think I want to get another Mausvingo. Oh, and it's... Yeah, I mean, I think we can definitely start here. Alright. Remember to log out of your alt, kids, before starting a stream. Well, I guess that, that Smurf is dead now. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. Tell your friends. That's a good joke, guy. I mean, this does not look bad. You certainly got a lot of ops. Hopefully we'll get an opponent pretty quick so we can jump in and do some testing. Alright, so let's go ahead and put out a CityWorks. Let's put out a Rashida. And then let's put the Hordem in front of the CityWorks. Kicking it. Old school. So now we're gonna get... I want some ice. So let's go ahead and go get the Wormhole and the Mausolus. Yeah, I know, Vicky, it's probably too much, but we want to be able to see it. Like we're doing a testing build, so we want to be able to see the cards, right? See if they trash it. When you're testing, you got to have the number of cards that enables you to... Alright, so we've got an agenda in hand, so we're going to put the Wormhole there. We're going to put the Masvingo on R&D, and then we're going to advance this once. And then we're going to place the advancement tokens on Wormhole. We're going to advance this again. And we're going to put the advancement tokens on Masvingo, so when that gets res, it'll have 4 subroutines. We can just keep clicking for credits and slow rolling this, because it's not like they could take it. Are they going to come in and try to... I was going to say, are they going to try to come get it? How greedy am I? Very greedy. Alright, so we need to get money because they are actually setting up. I don't think we're too greedy. Alright, so let's score. Is there an SMC in the bin? There is not. So, advance, advance, and score. So now we're just one agenda in the remote away from winning. We'll put some counters on it just to make it harder for them to install cards and also steal it. But then we could just finish it next turn. Because they need 4 cards in hand to be able to steal it. I really hope they're on Angelo. Because I think we've got him now. Good game. We set up the fork and we didn't use either one of the cards. Alright, let's try again. Let's see if we can use either one of the cards. Uh-oh, Danosuke is coming in. Come on, let me back in. All right. We're probably going to lose right here. We're just going to lock down the centrals, and then we're going to purge out. These Mausoleses versus Anarch are going to be a pretty big deal. We just got the console and a liberated. It's a very big deal. It's 1 sub per counter for Mosvingo. Is there a Mausolus in the bin? There isn't. So, or a Black Orchestra in the bin, so we'll res. And then next turn, we're going to Biotic Red Planet out the last 5-3. Good game. We stabilized. And again, we didn't use either one of the cards. Alright, let's try to find another opponent. We're working hard out here. I'm trying to play the new cards, Noah. I'm not getting the new cards. Okay, so this could be something. All right, let's give him the old GLHF. Let me move my stupid face so we see more of this beautiful background. I'm excited to see somebody putting the work into... Alright. So let's go get CityWorks Project in a new remote. Let's put that in front of it. And then let's advance it once. And then we're going to put the counters on there. Yay, we use digital rights management. We did it. thank you, everybody. Say thank you to Noah the Duke in chat, who is our tirelessly working JNet dev, who worked hard to get these cards ready and functional on JNet for us to be able to do this stream. See, I think the biggest thing about SSO, especially with a lot of the most powerful decks being like these lock shapers, is if the runner isn't prepared to attack super hard early on, the deck is just so tempo forward where you're just like leaping forward economically every turn with these counters if they're not challenging you. So now we're going to finish this. And then we'll set up for the hostile takeover renovation combo to finish. We haven't seen a restricted card yet. I'm guessing it's in Versificator, but I could be wrong. They might be on Film Critic. Film Critic is a very popular restricted card. In Kit. Ooh, Chameleon. Oh, so they're on like the new thing. They're probably on Cyber Trooper. This guy. Perfect. So now we have two different types. So we're going to put that down, and we're going to put that in the remote. We're going to gain a buck. Yep, there it is. Very cool. It's a bird lizard. So let's res the ice wall. This is neat. I like what they're doing here. This is exciting. I'm very excited that this person decided to come in with this list, because now we're getting new cards versus new cards. That feels real cool. I like that. And they've got a lot of good drip because they don't need as many programs. Oh, and because they're using Chameleon, the programs aren't in their MU during the start at the start of their turn, so they're more likely to trigger data folding. That's really clever. And then they can use artists to offset the install costs. Neat, neat, neat. Yeah, because it's like a build your own cyber cipher. Now, this is one of those things where being able to keep the old Hollywood, or the Hollywood renovation, would have been nice, because we could have brought these ice walls up above 5. Yeah, I think unfortunately we're not going to be able to keep anything. They may have us locked, which is... I'm pretty excited as far as the kit deck is concerned. Now, there's a lot of backline stuff here that this build needs. So it looks like they got a fair amount of draw, and they got career fairs, which makes sense since you have the artist, Cyber Trooper, and data foldings. No, our KMB Grid. No. No. Things are looking pretty spooky, people. So I don't think we could actually win this. What's our play? Because if we go get a city works, they'll just draw up and steal it, right? So I guess what we're doing is we're getting ready for a biotic Red Planet Couriers. Working hard for the money. So hard for the money. Yeah. Alright, kids. We're seeing what we can make happen. Oh, at least we're gonna get to res this for free. Before. That's nice. Taking some credits. Okay, so that's a whiff. Nice. Okay. Let's count clicks. If we digital rights management for a CityWorks project, does that work? The most we can get it up to is 4. So I think they're still going to be able to get it, right? Oh, not if they have to put the chameleon down. Is chameleon in the trash? Okay, okay. I think this is our out. So we're going to go get a CityWorks. I mean, we can never, even for good margin, just do this to give ourselves a little extra money. And then we're going to put the advancement tokens on Wormhole. And we know that there's nothing on the top of R&D for them to steal. Oh, actually, we just shuffled, so there might be. Oh, man. Is digital rights management gonna win us a game? Because we were able to go find an agenda? Because it was able to go get us and install us to CityWorks at exactly the right time. Because now there's no way that they will have enough cards to be able to steal this. When does, I can't remember because I've been too excited, too many cards in the brain. When does this only become legal for standard play at Worlds, or is it are all these cards in the meta now? I mean, it happens. We played our outs, right? But yeah, I mean, the cards work, especially digital rights management. I think digital rights management... I think that's probably the big winner here, right? Alright. We're going to move on to working with Lacoste Grid. Oh, wow. Okay, you guys are gonna... Everybody's gonna need to give me 1 second. The browser just crashed on the other window. So, give me 1 minute. Yeah, I mean, there's not much you can do there, right? We played our outs. Oop, give me 1 second. It's not picking it up. Okay. Give me 1 minute. I'm going to have to do a little bit of troubleshooting. But let's talk about this card. So, what do we think is the best delivery system for this card? I think, personally, I think that we should be doing this out of Palana, where we'll actually have the money for stuff. Or we could do it out of RP. Like, Saraswati, like, runs... like, contrary to, like, what we're trying to do, which is never advanced stuff, right? Alright, so I think Oboe is probably going to be our restricted, but we can always change that. Let's get political dealings. Actually, well, let's get Lacoste in there. X3. Kakugo is a good card. Are we going to do the Nisei version, or are we going to do the viral weaponization version? So we could do Saraswati, but I don't like combining things that are untested with things that we already know are hard to use, because then the likelihood that we're not going to get the card to work is increased. So I'd rather slot Lacoste Grid into a shell that is more stable, so we can get a better sense of what the power level of the card is. Alright, well, let's do GFI. I don't usually like GFI in Palana, but let's do True Rush, right? Let's do Nisei. We can do viral weaponization for the lulls. Yeah, let's just go up to 21. Yeah, we'll do envelope. Let's get the classics. Let's get hedge fund. Already got those. IPO. Rashida X3. NGO X2. I always like to do... Actually, we'll do all three since we have the ability to load it up like a baked potato. Alright. Anansi X3. 1 DNA tracker. Ike. Biovault. Good call. Biovault X2. We haven't used hardly any influence. So let's talk about some ice. We can get Fairchild 3. It's a classic glacier piece of ice. We'll probably only do 2x. You know what I want? Oh, right, border control. Gosh. Well, we definitely want probably 1 preemptive. We want 1 breach dome. We want celebrity gift. Because our whole jam is just having huge mountains of money. Probably only need 2 border controls since we're not doing like a tax strategy. That way we can get in slot machines. I might cut Tracker. Tracker's super expensive. Xcal. I really don't like... I think in the current metagame, you're only playing 1 Thimble Rig because everybody is on Amakua. What am I missing? Is there another decent sentry that we could have? Swordsman's okay. Not great. A 1x Cortex, a 1 or 2 Cortex locks can be fun. Right? Because sometimes Cortex lock just gets you a kill. So we'll throw one of those in there. Yeah, alright, that's testable. Let's do it. Because it's never advance, never advance. Get it? This is why you're here, this high-quality pun game. All right. So I think also a deck could be made here where instead of global food, you have oboe, and then you have digital rights management, so that if you land a viral weaponization, you can immediately go get an obokata on the following turn to try to take advantage, but that's a very different deck. Ooh, this should be neat. So we're definitely looking for like a nice, strong piece of ice for HQ right out of the gate. I'm hoping that we get a Cortex Lock. Cortex Lock tends to be very good against Adam. I think we keep this, though. This is strong with nothing for them to steal in the early game. And the other nice thing here is, like Max, we're likely to trigger our ability every turn. Alright. So I think early on, as much as it pains me, we are going to have to focus on battening down the hatches a little bit to prevent early steals. That's true. That's something to think about. So let's draw. Let's draw again. Let's put this out. Maybe it's a snare. We just need an ice for the Lacoste Grid. Nope, they're gonna run it. Okay. We just need any ice. And we have a large number of ice, so... what do we got? We have 18 pieces of ice. That's a pretty strong deck. So all clicks gone to bypass here. Oh my word. Give me a piece of... Okay, we're going to lose because we're just not going to draw ice the whole game. So I'll force them to use it here. Okay, so they're just on logic bomb recursion forever. Maybe we'll have one turn where they can't access an agenda. Okay, well, we lose. Like, we have no ability to keep them out of anywhere. And, like, our whole strategy's already gone. This is why I like doing Obakatas, because Obakatas and Kakugos actually slow people down. Yeah, like we don't have any outs now. How are we gonna get out of this one, kids? Oh, that's game. I don't know, they kind of had our number right from the very beginning. Another Adam deck. We just need to get some money. Like, we need to stabilize early. Right, everybody knows exactly what we're doing, so it's always exciting. Because people know exactly what we're doing. So they know that they don't have to worry about anything that they run, because they know that we're not on Obokata because they watched the stream. At least we finally got the Lacoste Grid down. So we have this big window. I would like to draw an agenda during this big window that we have. Because now they're going to just get an unlimited amount of time to set up. I mean, but we can't keep anything safe against Adam. Like, I would like... I guess I'm going to have to request not to be against Adam for the next round, because with logic bombs, we can't keep anything safe. Like, there are certain cards that it's just like kind of an untenable matchup for us. That being one of them. Good game, I guess. Alright. So we're 2 down now. I don't know, Kyle. That's kind of hard to say. I think just Adam is a bad ID to test against, because there's an incredible amount of pressure in the early game, and your ice largely doesn't matter. So if you're planning on testing like a Glacier strategy, Adam's not a good one to test against, because you might face one Adam maybe an entire tournament, but it just basically negates our strategy. Like having permanent inside job for all of our stuff is pretty tough for us to win with. Alright, let's see if we can fire this sweet, sweet combo. Because I think another thing to keep in mind here is against a normal runner, they don't have... Yeah, so look at that. It worked. We did it, kids. And we got an Ngolo. And 2 diversion of funds. Like, that's what the deck is supposed to be able to do, right? So now we're going to put the BioVault in there. We'll pay. We'll put this on R&D. And we'll put this on Archives. And we'll res it, just so that they can't get points off of it. So now we've got the Lacoste Grid ticking down on the BioVault. Saving us some clicks. They can't trash anything, so we'll just let them in. They can trash one thing. So they'll trash the Rashida here. I mean, they don't even want to. It does have Nisei MK2. Which is what we're gonna now... See, now we've actually been able to keep our stuff because they're not accessing 2 cards out of HQ every 2 seconds. We've got the BioVault now. We're going to be able to fast advance or never advance out a Nisei next turn. Right? Like, the engine's actually moving. Because we got to keep our cards in the early game. Alright, it's not done. Criminals can always scrap their way back. This deck does probably want digital rights management. I think we would move off of Envelope onto Kakugo. We would move off of Global Food onto Obakata. And then we would use that influence for digital rights management so that if we land the viral, we can immediately the next turn go into the attempted oboe score. Draw. Let's put that on the remote. Yeah, digital rights management is super good. They gotta try to go for it. If they don't go for it, we just murder them. This could be a GFI. Yeah, they're counting clicks now. Oh, goodness. Okay, we will protect this grid with our life. I mean, I think we can let them have this. And we can just tick down this. Being able to tick down the Bio Vault with Lacoste Grid is so good. We're going to get the I key down on R&D next turn. BioVault is the one that we're utilizing most notably. Next turn, we're going to install advance the GFI. Oh, they want to clear this out. Tough but fair. I think we need to do a purge. I mean, there's not a ton we can do about it. We don't have the time or the tempo for it. Yeah, I don't know what we're going to do here. Our window is closing. Happy Booster Pack Day. Don't know what we're gonna do. Yeah, I don't know how we're gonna get out of this with kids. At least there's a breach dome in there, I'm pretty sure. Really, this X-Cal is our win condition. We need a GFI, and we need them to not be able to break the Excalibur. That's it. Alright, we gotta cycle a bunch of money and Biovault and a border control back through. Yeah, we couldn't do this in Ag Infusion. Oh yeah, I love to see turning wheels getting used here. That's great. We need NGO front, we need a Biovault, and we need a Celebrity Gift. Yeah, I mean, it's serving us decently well here. Are we firing the side game? Okay. These ice that we've got are pretty taxing, though. Here we are. Click in for creds. The influence right now is 2 border control, 1 Fairchild, and 3 slot machine and GFIs, which I don't like. I do not like GFI in Jinteki. So again, we're taxing on clicks. See, and if we were on a Kakugo Oboe plan and we had like a Kakugo on R&D and HQ, these runs would be so expensive to them that they wouldn't be able to lock us. Right, like this is why certain things get frustrating for me, because like GFI just says it takes them one more agenda to win, whereas Oboe and Kakugo's actually gives us like a late game opportunity to win. So I think we just we put this down, we advance this once, and then they can't break Excalibur twice, and we win, right? No, we don't care. No, actually, we don't have enough clicks. We had to have it in hand. So we could lose here. And a whiff. Wow, that's huge. Everything is going into our scoring plan, where next turn, we're going to put down the Lacoste Grid. We're going to advance this once. Yeah, we're still in this. Because they have to break this. Because if this is an agenda, they can't get back in. They're not going to break it. Okay. And then we're going to say action before access. Gain 5. Now I think we have them. We're back in it. We put this down. We don't bother. We install this and we advance it once. And now with this and the Excalibur, they have to win off of the top of R&D, and we already know that there's no agendas for them. So I think we got them. I mean, either way is fine. I want to use the new card. Yeah. But there's nothing for them to steal. We worked hard for that. Very good game. We did it. Alright. So let's talk a little bit about the next card that we're going to be utilizing here. The last Corp card for today. I think this is like definitely either an Arello combo card or like the combo sports metal genre. I believe in you, my browser. Come on. Okay. Netrunner DB is being a little slow, so we'll give that a minute. So let's talk about best potential uses of this card. What kind of shell do we want to build? I think easily we're talking about sports metal if we're talking about like a solid delivery engine. So do we want to do fake points sports metal, or do we want to do like Arella combo sports metal? Alright, so let's talk about it. Well, first of all, we're going to get 3 of these. So let's get Mega Pre in there. We want Vitruvius, because Vitruvius is a good agenda. You want Hyperloop. You want GFI. That's 21 points right there. Let's get some news teams. Hedge Fund, Architect, Game Changer, Archived X3, Hamani Sanai. What is that card called? Fast Break? Probably 2 of those. Gatekeeper's a good one. Rashida's, of course. Rashida, NGO front. Red level. Probably at least 1 biotic. Just to have it. Stock buyback's a solid choice. We have a lot of money. Probably go down to 2 there. Probably go down to 2 there. Maybe 2 stock buybacks. Keep the red level because it's a little bit more. Yeah, I really like Fairchild 2 in the current metagame because it costs the same amount for Angolo as Fairchild 3. Yeah, we could do like 1 NGO just for the lulls. We can get the stock buyback back in. I think Hagen is a really good choice. Probably like vanillas, to be honest. Nah, I don't know. I mean, Domestic Sleepers is like a money card for us, right? Yeah, this seems great. Let's do this. We have 3 archive memories. All right. I'm having so much fun testing all of these new cards. There's so much fun stuff we can do. I wish I wasn't getting eaten alive I keep getting eaten alive by mosquitoes taking my daughter out to ride her bike. The sacrifices we make. Well, I mean, we're not really all in on combo. We'll see how it goes. I can't believe that we scrapped back and won that Palana game. I think, while we're waiting, let's talk about the other deck a little bit. I think, obviously, the big changes we would make is we would go for Obokata as our restricted card. We would probably cut 1 viral weaponization and get a Philotic. Here, we can come back to that. Leela. Interesting. Okay, yeah. So let's kick it off the old school way. Let's do news team. Mega pre-qualifier and an NGO front. And we get the Mega Pre. And they put the news team back in our hand, which is perfect. You gotta get stuff out of our hands. I mean, but this is all fine. We're just gonna score the Vitruvius. There's the news team. So there's our first fake point. And another news team. Classic. Ooh, they're gonna go get the GFI. We'll draw some cards off of this one. Yeah, I messed up the prompt. It's okay. Okay, have we lost a game changer yet? Where the hell are our game changers? Nowhere, I guess. Like, they could win just off of these GFIs. Yep, they're gonna just win off the GFIs. Incredible. Good game, I guess. That really stunk. So I don't think we need an NGO front. We do need 3 game changers. Probably only 1 fast break. We need more ice. Alright. Try not to get frustrated. It's hard to test new cards. So let's put out some fake points. And a Rashida. Good luck, have fun. Rad. Let's draw some cards. Here's some more fake points. Draw some cards. There we go. Well, unfortunately, we're going to lose because the opening wanton hit 2 GFIs. So I think we could potentially do it. Ooh, a Swift deck. Oof. We could do it. We could do it. That felt nice. We need to get another gatekeeper down. We won. We came back. I can't believe it. We did it. Whew. And we fired that sweet, sweet Mega Pre. Alright. Back to the lab. Now, I already did a bunch of testing with Swift. And I think one of the biggest challenges out of this card pack... Come on. I believe in you. There we go. I believe that one of the biggest challenges in this pack is building around Trooper Talut in Shaper. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about how we're going to make that happen. So, what's our identity? No, I think Brahmin's a trap, right? Brahmin's expensive, and like, wouldn't it be better to just use Chameleon? I mean, we could, but then how are we reinstalling stuff over and over again, right? Are we using London Library? Are we using the Sahasrara? We have to be thinking about how we're leveraging. We have to be thinking about. We need to be running every turn, basically, and we need to be reducing install costs. Now, earlier, we saw somebody using it to effect in Kit. I don't think that's terrible. I think if we're also going to go like all in on the Chameleon plan, we could also do it in Chaos Theory and have the extra MU for things like data folding. And then we can use something like the Artist to reduce the install costs with technical writers. Let's take a look at it. Let's think about it. So first things first, if this is what the deck is built around, we're going to start with 3 Cyber Troopers. Okay, Sure Gamble, Diesel, Self-Modifying Code. So let's look at data folding as an econ card. Let's look at the Artist. Earthrise. Gonna do 3x career fairs. Right, then we can also get casts in there. I guess that's probably our whole econ package, right? Yeah, Dinosaur still exists, doesn't it? It's just garbage. It's so expensive. Well, we need things like misdirection. Probably need things like stim hack. Yeah, we can have an emergency D4. Astrolabe is our console with an Akumatsu. DJ Fenris. Turning wheel, since we're going to be running a lot. Chameleon. At least X2. We have a lot of influence to spend here. This isn't a connection, I don't think, unfortunately. Oh, it is a connection. We'll probably do 2 copies then of Cyber Trooper, and then we'll get in Hostage. Interdiction's pretty bad for us. Or pretty good for us. So we'll get 2x interdiction. We're a small deck. We could get Paperclip as our restricted card. Yeah, we have some classic shaper problems happening. This is tough. So the other thing is we could do like no foldings and do like a woo build, right? I don't know, it's tough. This is really tough. We could do some like woo flame out shenanigans. Yeah, let's take a look at that. We'll save this. We could potentially come back to it. But let's look at Woo. Alright, self-modifying code. Rozeki. Sure Gamble. Diesel. Clone Ship X3. Chameleon at least X2. Alright, so how are we building this out? How many flame outs are we doing? With all these 2-costers, we're going to definitely be on Kushuk. So we probably got to do the piece. We got to do the stem hack. Especially since we're going to be compressed on installs. We probably want a rebirth for Haley in the late game. Come on, Brian. This was your suggestion. What do you got? Oh, yeah. One Beth. We'll get the Beth in there. Astrolabe. Akamatsu. Feedback filter. Brian Cassidy, who is in the YouTube chat. Oh, how many flameouts are we gonna have? What does Cybersoft Macro Drive say? I have Isn't that gone? All that remains is what set? Isn't Cybersoft Macro Drive gone? So Lunar is still in the game, right? Or is it not in the game? Is Autoscriptor still in this game? Oh man, Autoscriptor is still in the game. We're going deep dive. Okay, let's do it. Oh man. Woo. Flameout works when you break with Chameleon, but it eventually runs out of steam and you still have to keep reinstalling it. We need a misdirection. Man. We need Daredevil. No. Gosh. What's the other one I'm thinking of that's 3 cost? That we'll never use, but... There it is. Modded. Balder, stop. We're not doing London Library. All right. So I think I can't do this. We can't do Cybersoft macro drive. Like my brain can't handle that. We're gonna do Flame Out, because it helps us install our Rizekis, and then we'll get some rejigs in there. We'll get 3 of them. We have so much influence to spend. We haven't spent like hardly any influence on anything. I don't know. I guess turntable, since we're like a slow setup deck. Get a turntable in there. That's some influence. Security Nexus. Oh man, this is hard. Oh right, we don't have Turning Wheels. Turning Wheels is a good card in Netrunner. We'll get 1 Turning Wheel, and we'll get a Paperclip as our restricted card. We gotta make some cuts. We're also gonna be at a high amount of MU, basically all the time. We don't need modded. Realistically, we don't need more than 2 clone chips ever. We can use Sai, because then we can move it around and stuff, right? I mean, this is playable. Let's do it. What's the worst that could happen? I think we have so much fake money in this that we only need 2 Rizekis. Let's count up our 2 cost cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, well, we're good on 2 cost cards, right? I think we only need 2 Rizekis. And then we need some sort of console. So let's do an Astrolabe. Is there any 2-cost Shaper console that actually gives a good amount of memory? I don't think that there is. Nope. We're working hard out here. I don't know, I think this is fine. Chameleon's our killer. Chameleon and David are our killers, right? Because we can get up to 5 strength for Anansi. The only thing we can't break well is Archer, right? So the only other thing that we can do, since we're going to be pretty rich, is we could get in like an emergency Ica, whatever that's called. I mean, if we got lamb, we would be getting into like super mega hungry territory. Like we would be so MU hungry. Yeah, so how do we get whatchamacallit? How do we get Palangi in here? I mean, we are going to install a lot. Yeah, we can probably cut one flame out. Could probably, yeah, we could probably cut one flame out and one rejig to get 2 Palangis in there. I think we do need to get up to 3 Rizekis, though. Life is hard. Making decks is hard. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Alright, we're going to lose because of this, but I'm cutting the dang feedback. No, see, but that's a 2... Maybe just 1. Oh. Not Cyber Feeder. Alright, let's try this. Nobody can say that we're not out here working hard. Thank you everybody for hanging out. What a great stream this has been. Experiment with some new cards, baby. Alright. So, this is like perfect. So basically, as long as they don't score a hostile, we're going to have a really efficient first turn, which they did. Okay. So we're still going to do what we're going to do, though. We're going to put down Technical Writer. And we're going to put down these 2 cards. Because now we can go do that. Oh, no, we can't. I screwed up. Shit. No, we won't have enough money because you can't pay install costs with it. I screwed up, kids. Okay, let's get some money. And then let's go get the Sai. Then let's go in there. All right, we did a Piat. God. Man, I'm stupid. Flameout does make it so that we can actually just like straight tutor breakers, which feels real good. And this single tech writer is getting loaded up like a baked potato. Did I even put any MU in this deck? Okay, I put a single Astrolabe in this deck, which is, survey says, not gonna cut it. Oh, maybe the rebirth target is Kit. Maybe that's the target, right? Maybe it's Kit, because then we can use Palangi and Rebirth to like really jam slam. Or, realistically, we may have to turn into Chaos Theory. But we'll see. Yeah, I think 2 Rizekis is the right number, right? We're never going to have the MU for 3. Right now we're showing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards. So Kit turns that into a barrier, so we'll fully break border control with the bad pub, and then we're going to continue on with our lives. We need better MU source in this deck. We may need to try to find room for at least one Akamatsu. Perfect. We'll go ahead and use David. That's what it's here for. So we'll fully break Mother Goddess, since it is a code gate. So we burned up a ton of their cash. SDS drone deployment. Get rid of this David that we're not using anymore. And then take the technical writer just to make sure that we don't die. That feels pretty good. Now, the neat thing is... Okay. Is we can... let's go ahead and install this and say code gate. And then let's Kushuk R&D. We will take the SDS drone deployment. We'll pay to steal in the form of one of the Rizekis. And then we will just gain $1. And Chameleon comes back to our hand. This is wild as hell. Here we are, making some wild, wild stuff. Definitely want to get that paperclip into the bin, though, for Chiashi. Alright, so now we're going to get Clippy into the bin, which gives us a little bit more of, like, a buffer. I think we're also, once we find Koshuk, we're going to rejig this Cyber Cipher onto R&D. Is our opponent on Arc Lockdown? If they are, then that's just a risk we're going to have to take. So let's draw. Let's rejig onto R&D. I'm going to say barrier, and then let's Kushik. Oh, they're just gonna let us in. Okay. Good game. So that's something that used to happen with my old Rushmore Haley build a lot. Is once you actually got the engine going, people would be like, you know what? Nah, dog. You can just not. I'll just won't res ice.
A new subscriber arrives.
Hey, Specman, thank you very much for the subscription. It is September, which means that supporting the channel on Twitch is half price. You can do it for like $2.50, and you can give me like $2.50. If you have Amazon Prime, you can do it for free. There's also a link in the show notes on YouTube to help support the channel. I am going to be taking an entire day out of my trip on PAX Unplugged to put on a full commentary stream at PAX Unplugged for the Mid-Atlantic or the East Coast Championships that we're going to be running. So if you want to support that work, the best way to do that is by subscribing on Twitch or by following the link in the show notes on YouTube. Let's take a look at the list real quick. I think I want to do one more with this. Alright, so I think we definitely only need 2 Rizekis. We need an Akamatsu. That's what I needed. We needed an Akamatsu mem chip. We need like just that little bit of extra flexibility. I kind of want to get a 3rd rejig in, but I don't know what we would cut for it. I like the Palangi. I think it's a lot of good extra pressure. Like, there's a lot of things I'd like to have more of. Like, I'd like to have a 3rd clone chip. I'd like to have a 3rd rejig. Well, thank you for stopping by, Speckman. I really appreciate it. We're in a tough spot, though, right? I think the Rebirth's real good. I guess we gotta leave it for now. We just gotta play sharp, right? One more game. We've been going for about 3 hours now.
A new subscriber arrives. It fills you with determination.
Hey, Ruby Vroom. Thank you very much for the sub. I really appreciate it. Alright, so I'm gonna like have to move my face a little bit here. I think this is a keep. This is definitely a keep. We've got a big part of our econ combo.
A new subscriber arrives. It fills you with determination.
Thank you, Zero. I appreciate it. Alright, so we're going to piece in our time. We're going to technical writer. We're going to put down a flame out, and then we're going to go get a self-modifying code. We're going to host it there, and then we're going to go get Rizeki. And look at that. Look at all the money we saved. Damn, we made 3 credits for the future. Wow, much value. Maybe, see, I think eventually we would get to the point where we would probably only have 2 Cyber Troopers, but for the purpose of this stream, I've been putting 3 copies of everything that we're testing in to make sure that we actually see them and have a good chance to use them. And in the SSO game, we had 3 copies of everything, and we still didn't see them in like half of the games we were playing, right? So let's draw a couple times. Let's put that down, and then we're going to go get another self-modifying code. And we're going to go get another Rozeki, and we're just going to use this flame out as like a price reduction. Yeah, man, Future Bucks Value Town is a good town. So let's draw. Let's draw again. Let's lock the remote with this. Then let's draw once more. So we're probably not going to need the misdirection. I don't believe that there's going to be... I think there is going to be like a card. I can't talk too much. I have been involved in testing, so I'm limited into what exactly I can speak about. So now we're in this neat place where we can tutor the chameleons with Woo and put one of them on Flame Out, or tutor it with Woo and then put one of them on Flame Out so they don't die. So we're in a situation here where we're just going to start setting up. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to rebirth into Kit. Oh. We're going to go get Chameleon. We're going to name Sentry. We're going to host it on Flameout. Then we're going to rebirth into Kit. Then we're going to go over here. We're going to break that for 4. Well, that stinks. Let all subroutines fire, I guess. All these people out here on Next Diamond, they gotta take the flame out, right? That's always going to be the rub, isn't it? Like, these big sentries. I guess we got to basically try to lock. Yeah, no, Hector, it's cool. If you want more information, there's an organization that I've done, the Nisei organization, which is what is keeping the game going. I've got some information on... Oh, it won't let me... Give me a second. I can't. It won't. It won't let me post it because there's too many links. But Nisei.net. Alright, so let's get Cyber Trooper down. Alright, let's hit R&D. We gotta start locking them. Oh, wow, that feels bad. Yeah, it's my own bot caught me because I tried to copy and paste a message into the chat. So this surveyor is going to be a real problem, huh? I guess we got to try to get Palangi, right? We also need another clone ship, basically. And we don't get it. Alright, what are we doing? What's our out? We need to get, how are we gonna do this? Because we don't have a program to put down so that we can overwrite Cyber Cipher is the problem. This is really rough. We're already switched to kit. We can't use Woo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards. I think basically we gotta drop this, and then we gotta Kushuk, and just say fire it. Yeah, Turning Wheel's the right choice because that gives us a really good like final access. Oh, that stinks. So our final op is to just run again and see what the top card is. We are so dead, one way or the other. So let's see if that shuffle got us an agenda. Nope. Good game, well played. So maybe we switched to kit a little too early that game, because we lost our ability to tutor stuff. But also, like, next diamond, again, it's like kind of like a fringe, like a fringe situation. Like, most people are not running 1, 2, like 3, 6 strength sentry. So if we SMC'd for Palangi, we'd have no breakers in play capable of breaking. So Solemn Storm. If we got... Yes, see, but Palangi triggers after the encounter starts. So you then can't install Clippy. Clippy... it already has to have the correct subtype for you to be able to use Clippy. So... I honestly think maybe starting as Kit might be the right idea here. And then just getting like a super jacked Chameleon, and then using Angolo and Palangi to just rip through servers. No, it's not meant to be rotation proof. But I think Kit could be a strong choice for this. As wild as that is to say. But yeah, we had some good games today. I got a little frustrated trying to test this one because we got hit up by 2 Atom decks in a row. That was my bad. I shouldn't have done that. But I think the core here, there's definitely some nougat to be mined out here. I think we need to move around the Agenda Suite and our Ice Suite here. I think the SSO is very strong with the addition of the KMB Grid. This is fine, right? I think you can use this in your favorite flavor of sports metal, and it's just real solid. And then I think the Cyber Trooper, and I know we didn't get to the other stuff, like the big one that we didn't get to is this one. But this less is predisposed towards like a specific deck, and more towards like, hey, do you play more than like 12 ops or 12 events and have like 2 free influence, or are you an Anarch? Just put it in there, right? It's just extra econ. So I will do probably some testing with this maybe tomorrow morning, and because I want to use it in conjunction with Swift. But I felt like the other ones were a little bit wilder and a little bit weirder, where they really kind of predispose themselves towards specific decks. So I wanted to do that. But yeah, test it out. I know there's some Nisei people in here, I think. If there are, let me know when these are like legal for standard play. Are they legal as of today or as of Worlds? But regardless, put that on the comments. I got to make myself some lunch. Thank you very much for the stream. 9-9, that's what I thought. Okay. So I think I will say thank you very much for taking time out of your day to come hang out. I always appreciate everybody coming and hanging out. And until I see all of you wonderful Netrunner humans again, always be running.